Welcome, everyone, back to another one of our episodes. Today we have our first guest. This is Fatuma. We have known her, Dahlia has known her a little longer than I have, but we've known you about 3 years.
3 years.
So we're excited to meet with you today, to get to know you a little bit, have you share your story, and let the people know who Fatuma is.
Thank you for being here, Fatuma, and welcome to our blog.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to share my story.
Awesome. I think that a lot of our listeners eventually will know that there's a lot of people that I've known a little longer than Angelica.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think it's just because I'm older than you. I'm the older sister. So that's why. We have heard a little bit of your story and the amazing story that you have had so far to make Fatuma who Fatuma is. And because of that, we were very excited for other people to get to know you. And we are big believers that all of our stories connect with one another. And I know you and we talked and how our cultures are so similar.
Very.
The fact that I can pronounce some words exactly how they are.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm excited to share my story. It's very long, but I will try to kind of make it short, touching every corner of it. My name is Fatuma. I was born in Somalia. In 1991, when I was 9, there was a civil war that broke out in my country, and we had to flee. So we went through the unknown. We experienced a lot of horrific, war stuff, and I witnessed my mom getting raped, my older brother getting killed, and that was really horrific experience. But we made it through, and we were able to flee and come to the neighboring country, which was Kenya. There was an agency for the refugees that were accepting people that are running from the war, and my family actually got split up. So I came with my dad and my sister and 2 of my brothers, while my mom and my 2 other brothers got lost. So we settled in a camp. It was really different environment. It wasn't what we have known, especially me. It wasn't something I've ever experienced because I was young. And then we were able to reunite with my mom and my 2 little brothers a year later, so in 1992. We lived in a camp for over 20 years.
Wow.
Going through the ups and downs. Life wasn't easy, trying to start from scratch. It wasn't always easy. We didn't have what we had, our wealth, or, farm, our animals, or home, and running water. That was the biggest for me. And where we settled in Kenya was really different. It was desert. It didn't rain a lot. And we, lived through it. We lived in a tent, which was new, slipped on the sand. But we're leaving and we're talking about it. So, that's life. That was the life of the refugees, but we made it home. We were able to build our homes from scratch using sticks and mud, and getting used to the food. And I actually went to school there, grew up there, got married there, had 4 of my kids there, and and that's when the refugee agency decided these people have lived here for over 2 decades, and maybe it's time some of them get resettled. And they did a random selection, and my family was picked.
You did mention like some I want to say like very traumatic things that you had witnessed.
Yes.
If you don't mind me asking, like, how were you able to like come back from that, or like deal and handle like that pain?
Yeah, it was really, it did a number on us, especially young kids. I have three younger brothers, so I can only imagine how they were, because it wrecked me. Witnessing your mom getting raped multiple times, seeing your brother getting killed in front of you, that was a lot. But we're people of faith, so we pray and depended on God, and keep my brother's memory, alive, and seeing my mom heal from all that. I think time heals, they say, but I still think about it, and it makes me sad, mad. I feel all the emotions, but still,
As you should.
it was a long time ago, but I don't normally bring it up, but when it comes up, I relive those moments. But I'm alive, and I have family of my own. We have the rest of the family that made it out healthy and alive. So that's, positive. Something to look at.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Fatima.
Absolutely.
Very powerful. So I appreciate you sharing that with us.
Yeah.
For lots of people, going back to those memories of something that was so traumatic, as you said, I don't think that feeling of what happened at that time, whether you're 9 or 5 or 15, never really goes away.
It never.
It's still there, but as I said at the beginning, you really are one of the most positive people that I've met, and you always see the good in everything. So
Thank you.
I can see where that's coming from, of
Yes.
you choosing to live that way. So
From my time knowing Fatima, I don't think I've ever seen you mad or angry.
well, you have not seen her when she's on the phone with maybe one of her kids. No, really not. It might last 2 minutes, if so, and then it goes away.
Right.
And when you say your family, was it, because 20 years, wow, that's a long time.
Right.
Yeah. I can't really imagine how really that changed you from a little 9-year-old to growing up there. So when you said your family, was that at the time your husband, your children, or did that include your siblings that were with you, mom and dad?
So my family, my mom and dad got picked first. And because I was married and had children, they were able to pull me. So we were able to come here. My mom, my dad, 3 of my brothers, and me, my husband, and my 4 kids were able to come to the United States. I still have 2 brothers and a sister in the camp. Some of them made it out. Like my older brother, he was able to learn the language, which is Kiswahili, went to school and made it out. He lives in Kenya now with his family. My sister, on the other hand, is still staying, and my older brother, they're
At the
both
camp.
in the camp. Yeah, but since 1991 for my sister and 92 for my brother, they went back to visit, but there's nothing to go back to. Our land was taken. There's they grew up in the camp themselves, and they don't know anything about Somalia. So they decided to stay and make where they are at a home.
Well, and for your brother that moved out of the camp, were there anything specific that you would say, okay, I want to go live somewhere else? Because as you were saying, you guys depended on everybody else in there to give you water, food, maybe a couple things that you guys would eat in your home. some necessities. But for your brother, once he got old, I'm guessing,
Yeah.
met his wife, had his children, was there something that you had to do or become or show to say, I'm ready to move out of the camp?
Actually, no. How he made it out was because he was the first in his class, and the government, Kenya government, and the refugee agency decided he deserves more education because he's bright. So he was able to go to college in Kenya, and that's how he met his wife, who was Kenyan, and that's how he settled in Kenya. Even though the camp is in Kenya, it borders Kenya and Somalia, but there's no access. You cannot travel to go to towns. You have to stay in the camp, and there are police and that and checkpoints where if you try to get out, you'll be sent back. So you have to stay in the camp.
That's amazing, and I don't know, maybe sad at the same time.
Yeah.
How after all these years, that they still have that. How's your sister doing?
She's older now. She was teen when she came, but had her kids there, and that's where she knows home is.
Right.
But she visits back home where my mom was in the United States, stayed for a few years and said, this is too different for me and I want to go back. And so she goes back and forth with mom and the camp. Mom is in Somalia, so.
Tell your sister we said hello, and I hope that she's doing well. From what you said, she has really, that's her home.
That's her home, yes.
Yeah. And what happens to your homes that you had at the camp? Can you pass it out to someone else?
So in the camp, everyone is your family. There's open spaces so everyone can see everyone. The first one that said, can I settle here, was the one that got it. It was a neighbor.
First come, first serve.
First come, first serve, yes.
Okay.
We couldn't sell it or do anything else with it because it's mud and sticks, but someone else wanted, what's the saying? Somebody's trash is another one's treasure.
True.
So that was that, yeah. So a neighbor got it and they still live there.
Wow.
Yeah.
You mentioned a little bit about your mom when you guys moved to the States, how she couldn't adapt or adjust to the culture.
Yes.
How was it for you and your family?
So there was a culture shock for sure. That was the first time I actually seen women wear shorts, to be honest, and like crop tops, you know what I mean?
Like, cover yourself.
I'm like, is this normal? But that's beside the point. Is really everything looked the same to me, but I was educated. So when you're educated, you can kind of like adapt faster than someone that isn't. My mom is educated on her own way. She was a midwife. We ended up, when I said we made the camp home, she was the first to get a job at the hospital as a midwife.
Okay.
She delivered 4 of my babies, actually 5. The one that was born in Denver,
Lucky.
actually. And but it was a struggle for her, especially the snow days where she can't go. She grew up to be active, earning, just getting up every morning and working physical labor and stuff like that. She wasn't able to adapt to just sitting at home because she didn't know the language. She tell her story when she was delivering my baby. It's an interesting story because I was on the table and they said, you just walk around, you have few minutes, maybe few hours, and he ended up,
coming within seconds.
Within seconds, and she was there, and I'm glad that she was.
And this was your baby that was born?
Yes.
Okay.
His name is Ahmed and he's 15, but he she delivered the baby and put him down behind me and said, I need help. She went out and said, I need help.
Wow.
They were amazed how that happened, and they asked her. She said, I've been midwife for over 20 years. And they believed her, but because with the medical terms and, not having a college degree and stuff like that, she wasn't able to get a job. She was older. So the thing is, everybody goes to school or work, and she stayed at home by herself, and that was depressing for her. And she finally decided, now that you're here, you can support me, I would like to go back. And that's how she did. She went back to Somalia, and she has her grandkids running around and her neighbors. Like I said, it's open environment, so you can see the person, passing by, and you can say hello. And that's what she wanted.
What about your dad? Because he came with you guys as well, correct?
He did. My dad lived in Maine, and he went back as well, but they live together right now, but she went first. Yeah. With the snow and not being able to go outside and walk, not knowing the language, not knowing your neighbor, that was kind of depressing for the older folks, and they decided to go back. Yeah.
I mean, the culture shock. I think from lots of people that come to the States.
Yeah.
The language is hard. Some people say that Spanish is hard. I think English is really hard. But of course, I can't really imagine also as well coming from a place where you guys didn't get rain for years to now 16 years ago we used to get a lot of more snow than what we've seen. So that's totally understandable. But what about for you guys? What about you and your family?
The shocking part was so we lived in 5 Points. That's where we settled first.
Okay.
And we'll take the bus, I think it's the 40th. We'll take that bus to get around.
Okay.
And I remember missing my stop and not knowing how to return. And I don't have a cell phone. So I'm just walking around, and until I say, oh, I recognize this building. It was major. But we made it through. The the most difficult thing was when we didn't have jobs and we're not able to pay rent. And me and my husband are looking at each other and we're saying, well, what do we do?
Right.
It's because the landlord comes, knocks on the door and says, where's my rent? So we get a little bit of money, ton of money, but the rent, it's not enough. We get assistance, but you can only buy food.
Yeah.
You can't buy clothes or anything else. And my caseworker at the time, who got fired for, I think, fraud, he wasn't the best.
We don't know who that person was. So.
Finally said, okay, well, you have to keep the TANF going. You would have to go to school or you have to work. So we went to Emily Griffith, me and my husband. And my teacher, who I am still friends with, her name is Jacqueline, said, you know English. You don't need to be here. What can I do? I said, I need a job. And she was able to talk to someone that she knew that was an HR from a hotel. And she connected us, and I was able to get a job as a housekeeper. And I kept that job for 14 months.
Okay. So it sounds like you picked up the language pretty fast.
What helped was I knew how to speak English. It's just I had a strong accent. And as I lived, and the kids went to school, and you watch TV, you watch cartoon with the kids. I kind of picked up the accent, but my husband had it really rough. I think he still does 16 years later.
Okay.
Because I think something in him broke. For some reason, he went to the ESL classes with me, but wasn't able to pick up anything. He's a taxi driver, so he makes living, but for some reason, language is still hard for him.
Yeah. I mean, the older we get, the harder it is to pick up a new skill and language for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. I also think that having your kids at home helped a lot.
That helped a lot.
'Cause your 4 oldest, right? They were a little bit.
So my oldest was 7, and my youngest was 1.
They picked it up quick.
They did pick up quick. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I had 2 more in the state in Denver.
So they're like, yeah. This is easy for me.
Right.
Well, your English sounds amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, it does. Awesome. And from 5 Points, you guys moved somewhere else. Is there a moment that you said, okay, this is a moment that has really shaped our life here, and this is our community today? We're going to embrace it.
Yes. So it wasn't easy, but 5 Point actually, it was a bad neighborhood, to be honest. There was a lot of gang violence going on, a lot of gunshots. I even asked my case manager at the time, can I go back to the camp? I don't want to live here. Because, I hear a gunshot and it puts me back to my childhood.
Yeah.
And after that, we were able to connect people in the community. At the time, we didn't know anyone, but once we got to know, people from Somalia that settled here, longer than us, we were able to move to Aurora.
Okay.
We lived in Aurora for a little bit, and then my husband got a job at, I can't remember the company's name, but it was a recycling company in Commerce City. Houses were cheaper then.
I'm sure.
This is 2012. So we lived in Commerce City.
Oh my God, 2012, homes were super cheap.
Cheap,
yes.
We rented 3-bedroom for $650. Yes.
Where do we find that now? No way.
Get that for like a studio now, but
not even.
Yes, not even. Yeah,
but that's another.
It's crazy how like the market just went up. And then we lived in Commerce City until 2016.
Okay.
And then I was just talking to someone and they told me, why don't you apply for housing? And I said, what's that? And they got me an application. I filled out the application and I was able to get housing with Denver Housing Authority.
Okay.
We settled in Old Sun Valley. We lived there for 4.5 years, I think.
Okay.
And then we were able to get a voucher during the redevelopment. We moved a lot. We moved to
couple times.
We moved a couple times. But when we got the voucher, they were giving us choices. Would you want to stay? We'll build this and then you can move back, or get a voucher and then you can live to where you think.
Go somewhere else.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. We got a voucher. We moved to Park Hill. And then houses were just getting more expensive each day. I visited Old Sun Valley, the new Sun Valley now, after it was redeveloped. And I was like, oh, this looks nice. And I was able to talk to old neighbor. She told me, this is nice. It's really nice. There's washer and dryer in the unit. That was something we didn't have.
Money. Right.
Rent, what did she say? Water and trash and, electricity is included in rent. And I thought about, that might save me, a few bucks. Maybe I should come back. And we were able to come back as a voucher holder. Okay. That's where we live. But we're trying to, get out of housing, give somebody else who's in need in where we at. And just become self-sufficient.
You say something really, really important, and that I've heard people, very few people, say. Give someone else the chance, and so from what I'm listening, your moment was that you got to the point where you feel stable and you brought the stability for your kids, and it sounds like you guys are doing great.
Yes.
Your kids are grown, right?
Yes.
Some of them. So
by
you still have babies.
By September, I'll have 4 adults.
Wow.
Yes. And then 1 in high school and 1 in middle school.
Okay.
So, and coming back to Sun Valley helped a lot because of all the resources they provide. I was able to take advantage of all the, help that was available to me. And when you are in need, actually take advantage, use those resources to your benefit. But when you feel like, okay, now I'm good, I have the resources, I have the means for somewhat, now I can
pass it on to someone else.
Exactly.
Yeah. What would you say is that moment when you feel, okay, Angelica, you gave me this resource, and my kids took advantage of it, we used it.
Yes.
How would you say, this is how I know that I got the best of it, I know how to go about it?
Yes.
It's time to share with someone else, or let that spot be for another kid or another adult?
Absolutely. To be honest, there's a lot of resources out there. There is, within the Denver Housing Authority, there is a resident coordinator that can connect you with the resources that you need. There is the ATW that if you need training, if you need certifications, if you need resources, that can hook you up with all those. I say I'm lucky because I just didn't sit back and enjoyed what was given to me. I was not raised like that. I was a go-getter. I think all of us were go-getters.
You still
really are. And I stayed in housing because I was benefiting from it. But by the time, the kids are grown, they're college graduates. Now I'm like, okay, now my kids have an income of their own. I have work, and how I got my work is an interesting story. If you want to hear it, I would love to share that too.
We're open to what you feel comfortable sharing.
So it was summer 2018, and I think the redevelopment grant was in the process.
At Sun Valley?
In Sun Valley. At the time, I had a job at a school, but I was a para, which means it's only student contact employment.
Right.
So I only got work if there's a student in the school. It was summer. I was at home. I got a flyer on the door, and I attended that meeting. And they were asking questions, and I happened to answer a few. And there was someone who was part of, the redevelopment, yes. And she said, "You live here?" I said, "Yeah." And she said, "I've never seen you." I said, "Well, I work, the rest of the other months, except for the summer. And I happened to be home and seeing this flyer." And she said, "Okay, well, I'm glad to meet you. Come to the meetings when you can. These meetings are going to be regular." I attended few of those meetings, and she was able to ask if I wanted to be a community connector with the Denver Housing Authority.
Okay.
And I said yes. So I was able to get an employment with the Denver Housing, but I resigned when I moved to Park Hill because a better opportunity came along. The school I was at previously offered me a more paying position, and I went back to that school. But long story short, I moved back to Sun Valley, and another position became available, and I went to that same person and I said, "Are you hiring?" And she said,
You want
"Yes."
to take me back?
Basically. And she gave me an application, and I was able to get hired again. I'm
awesome.
employed with the Denver Housing Authority, the Academy to work right now.
Okay, that's awesome.
As an
Fatima's very lovable. Everyone's taking her back.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, I also think that, I mean, not just your personality, but the work that you had previously done spoke for itself. And, you know, we always want those people around. And those are the ones that I would hope employers always want to have,
Yes.
right?
Hopefully.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome.
And seeing how you've been around Colorado for quite some years, and you did mention you lived in like very different neighborhoods.
Cities, yeah. Commerce City.
Cities.
Because you came straight to
Denver.
right? Okay.
Were there some like specific like challenges that you have like seen within these communities?
Yes. So
Okay.
having kids of my own that are coming out of age, it's really tough if you are not aware of how to guide them or where
Okay.
to find those resources. They love to burn energy, and if it's not guided, it can turn into the wrong way. So what I've seen.
Can you share a little bit more? Because you had mentioned that there's a lot of resources that are available for really anyone that needs it, and
Yes.
sometimes we hear, well, we're missing this,
Yes.
but what it really just means is that, well, you have your neighbor that has been attending or participating or being part of it. So how is it that maybe me as your other neighbor didn't know? Being that there are a lot of resources,
Mhm.
do you think that there's something that is missing to connect those people to those resources? Or you also said something that I was thinking that it was really, really cute.
Mm.
But you said when going back to when you got your job, that you had seen a flyer.
Yes.
A lot of times, including myself sometimes, I get home and what is this? What is this thing on my door?
Right.
Yeah.
Don't pay attention.
Right.
And I'm sure there's a lot of organizations out there that would feel the same way.
Right.
But what is it that sometimes it takes, you would say, on your opinion, to maybe catch my attention and
Sit and read the flyer.
yeah, or
Actually, yes.
pay attention to what's there that I might not need it now, but in the future, perhaps I would benefit from it.
So what I would say to anyone who needs resource and has children,
Mhm.
I would say read the flyer, call that number, see what you can do. I sit and think, why aren't a lot of people not participating in these programs? I think it comes back to people not putting a lot of, time and effort to it. I think generational poverty is a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you've never been pushed to your limit, to your potential,
Right.
I guess you just know what you've lived. What I did was actually how I got the school job with the DPS was there was flyer on my door, and
You really pay
that-
attention.
I really did
Love
pay
that.
attention. Yes, so that was my first flyer that I moved in Sun Valley 2016 June, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a flyer the next day on my door, and it wasn't with the Denver Housing, it was with somebody else, with another
Okay.
agency. And I called that number, and they said, we're training people to become parents. Do you want to be part of it? I said, yes. The school I did the training at was Colfax Elementary,
Oh, right down the street.
right down the street.
Yeah.
I really walked over there for 2 weeks to finish my training. My English was okay. I passed, my test, but math was hard for me. So I had to stay a few more days to actually practice and, pass that test. And by the time I got my certificate, I applied to this school that needed Paris, someone that spoke my language. That's what also helped. So if you're bilingual, I would say read the flyers. There are a lot of jobs out there for you. There's a lot of resources out there. Just take advantage of it. When it comes to the youth, what helped me was the Sun Valley Youth Center. They were taking the kids in the morning.
Right.
You go and pick them up at 6 o'clock. That was amazing. In between then those times, you can work. At the time, there was Hope in Our City, another agency that worked in the Sun Valley neighborhood that were also able to pick up the kids from school. So if you're working, you just give them permission, say, would you pick up my kids? And then I'll go get them at 5:30 when I get home. So there's that. When they're little, when they're older, let's say 15 and until they're 18, there are sports programs with, the rec centers. It's free for everybody.
Yeah.
And just like I said, they are in every neighborhood. Just go there, see what you can find. You would find something you would want for sure. And then keep the kids busy.
Yeah.
So that their minds don't wander to, doing other things besides the things that are beneficial.
Besides getting us in trouble.
Yes.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do think to what you're saying, Fatuma, sometimes that challenge is maybe feeling that, this resource is for me. Sometimes if we're struggling, for some of us, it is hard to accept and be open to that help. But if it's there, I would say, definitely use it.
Yes.
Because there's some amazing programs in Denver. There's a lot of great programs, and if we don't use them, they go away.
Right.
And then when they go away, it's when we want them.
Right.
The irony of that, right?
Yes.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Fatuma.
Of course.
We promise we're going to wrap it up. We just really are enjoying talking with you.
Yes.
What would you say that, if either you or people, us, that we can do to have a positive impact where we lived in our community?
I would definitely say just live up to your potential. Take advantage of those programs that are available to you. Denver Housing is offering a lot of those. Take advantage of it. There are other agencies, including the rec centers that are, there are daycares that will take your kids that are paid for. I don't know now since things changed, but in the
Things
past.
have changed a little bit, but I also, to what you mentioned, there's some places that will work with maybe the family income to adjust. Daycare is expensive, right? That's what I've heard.
It is.
And that's what I've seen from some coworkers.
Right.
But there's some places that will work with the families.
Yes.
Yeah. And all it takes is for you to take a phone call, stop by and ask the person in the front. So
That's right.
You did mention a little bit of telling people to read the flyers and read what's out there, reach out to people who may have more resources than them.
Yeah.
Is there any other type of advice or one message that you can share with your community, with any community, any neighborhood right now?
I would definitely say that everyone is capable of achieving their goal if they set their mind to it. I would say get out there like I did. I have 6 kids. So don't tell me you have a child and you can't go to work. But that kid in daycare and live up to your potential.
That's awesome. Awesome.
And you did mention a little bit of telling people like to read like the flyers and read what's out there, like reach out to people who may have more resources than them. Is there any other type of advice or like one message that you can share with your community, with any community, any neighborhood right now that you would like to share?
I would definitely say that everyone is capable of achieving their goal if they set their mind to it. I would say get out there like I did. I have 6 kids. So don't tell me you have a child and you can't go to work. Put that kid in daycare and live up to your potential.
Beautiful. Thank you, Fatuma.
Thanks for
We're very lucky to hear your story as our first guest.
Yes.
And we do look forward to having you back in the future. I'm sure that, when you come back to visit us, you'll have something new to share with us, I'm sure.
Yes.
I hope you feel very proud of yourself and, your whole family. You mentioned that you have 4 adults, kids.
Yes.
I know that a couple of them are college graduates.
That's right.
So that takes a lot of love and commitment and support from everybody in the family. So you feel very proud. I know that we feel very proud.
Thank you.
About you, and thank you for being here, and thank you for being part of our blog.
Thank you.
We hope to see you back in the future.
Yes, absolutely. I'd love to.
We'll see you next time.
All right, see ya.